a seat in her eye. There's one. She's trying to tell me.
Do that.
She's trying to tell me she had a seed in her eye. That's what she's trying to do. Our dogs Bandit and Ruby managed to sneak off this morning, and they were gone for about half of a day. And what we figured out is on these warmer days, it doesn't hurt so bad to let them out first thing in the morning. Then if they do decide to run off, they're usually back by early afternoon. By letting them out together, we're hoping that the dogs stop running off. But when they do, Ruby almost always comes back with a piece of cheatgrass or a grass seed of some kind in her eye. It must be right on that level when she's running through the grass, and she almost always picks one up. Ruby was trying to let me know that I needed to remove that seed from her eye. And after removing that grass seed from her eye, both Bandit and Ruby proceeded to take about a 6-hour nap, right in the middle of the day. After we got the dogs straightened out, I had to get back over here to the new property and get moving dirt, as Mark is getting closer and closer to having it roughed in. If I don't keep moving dirt, I'm never going to get this finished. I also asked Mark to help me cut in the first switchback for the new trail that will go from right here all the way up to the new water tank shed. From that point there, we will carefully pick how we will carve a trail all the way to the highest points on our property. And from right here to the highest point on the property, there's over 1,000 feet in difference. So that trail has to be safe. Mark is looking for a place to put this switchback. He's basically done digging out the pad. He has a little bit of time. I'm going to work on the pad. He's going to start the trail right here that's going to take us to the very back of the property. That was part of the benefit of getting this property, is we now have some width to put in some switchbacks and cut a real trail in. So literally right here, and we're talking about a Ranger trail, a four-wheeler trail. It's not going to be really any bigger than that. It'll be as wide as his excavator is. So he's trying to make sure that he finds the right place to kind of switch back from.
Enough of a ways that you want to get to first, which I know your first goal is to at least get to the water tanks easily. And then beyond there, eventually to your little cabin probably.
And just start working my way up to
eventually on up. Right? make it at least just wide enough, at least that you can safely travel it with your tractor. That gets you into any places you need. It makes it easier when you're trying to clean up the deadfall like this. When you're doing firewood season, you don't even have to worry about going out and knocking down a bunch of stuff. Heck, you got it all laying out up here.
If I could, that's exactly right. So let me say that again. So if I could access most of my property, we could probably burn deadfall for the rest of our lives and still not ever go through the deadfall. But I have to be able to get to safely access it.
Yeah, it's so hard to get to. It's so steep. Everything's 40% or 30 or 40 degree slope. And it's littered with lots of deadfall in there that's just rotting, and it's perfect stuff to get gathered up, but you got to be able to get to it. Trying to drag it down the hill sucks.
I was telling Mark right as we come around the corner to come up the hill that the kids have asked multiple times if this new switchback is going to get to the cabin. They ask all the time to go up to the cabin, but they're not allowed to ride their four-wheelers up to that road because that road is just too dangerous. So this is, again, just as Mark said, this first switchback is just going to give us all kinds of options around the place. So it's the perfect storm to get this figured out. I just kept thinking to myself, man, I wish we had known what we know now when it came to cutting my house in, when it came to cutting my driveway in, all of that stuff.
Sure. So, yeah, I mean, that was the same thing with me. I cut my driveway in, and here I was 2 years later recutting my driveway completely because it was just not working out, and learned the hard way that it was just too steep. Needed to keep it shallow.
I'm excited. More to come for sure. Yeah, you got Bandit under control? Ruby wants to know what's going on. They're not supposed to be outside together. Come on, Ruby, let's go get in the backhoe. Ruby. Come on, Ruby, right now. Let's go. Ruby. Good girl. Good girl, Ruby. So this is the last pile of dirt. Come here, Ruby. Come here. You stay by me. This is the last pile of dirt that has to be moved. I'm hoping I can get this done in 2 days. I could not be happier with the dimensions and the size of the new pad, but I got to deal with this last giant pile of dirt. Ruby's trying to catch me slipping so she can run away with Bandit. You stay right here. Come here. Right now. There you go. You stay up there. So my goal by the end of the day is to have at least half of this gone. I've got to think that we have moved somewhere north of 1,000 yards of dirt at this point. We could go a little bit further back and take out one more tree, but I think it's a little bit overkill. One of the hardest parts about moving this amount of dirt is simply not bumping into all the trees that we left behind in the process. It would be so much easier to get all the trees out of the way, and then we could really move this dirt. But that's not what I want. I want as much of that natural beauty to stay as possible, and that means do my best not to rub the trees as I'm working around them to dump all this dirt. This is one particular spot where I will later have to come back and cut down a couple of trees because I just can't get around them to spread the dirt. But I'm adding about 18 inches of dirt around all of these trees. And some of these trees are young enough where the dirt may not kill them. But even the older trees, it's simply going to shorten the life of the tree. The tree may last a very long time, even though I brought that dirt up. All right, I picked up this Echo multi-use weed eater. I don't know what you would call it, but it can be a weed eater, it can be a tree trimmer, it can be a hedge trimmer, it can be a brush cutter. I think there's 4 or 5 attachments. I now have the weed eater, the brush cutter, and then yesterday I picked up the tree trimmer because they happen to have it at my farm and ranch store that I shop at. And most of the time, these tools that do multiple things like that, they're rarely good at any one of those things, but so far this thing has been great. So I'm going to fill this thing up with oil, and I'm just going to run through down here real quick and reach up and get anything that I guess I can ultimately reach. Put that cap back on the weed eater. There it is, it locked in. I was about to put the saw away and I look up at that tree right there, and the main body of that tree is still healthy and fine, but there are 2 branches on that tree that if they broke and fell off, they would hurt somebody. So I'm going to see how well this thing cuts through a pretty good sized piece of dead maple. I do not understand how I've gone so long without a tree trimmer, but the higher I can reach up these maple trees and cut off the smaller branches, the more sunlight comes through the trees and ultimately the more grass will grow. On our next video, I finish moving dirt. I'm about to get serious with my shop, and by serious, I mean I'm about to turn it into a shop. And step one is to get a tire machine, so I don't have to go to town to get a tire fixed. Much of the excess dirt is ending up right here, where I'm trying to make the new property and the old property tie in together in a way where we have more usable flat land. Obviously it's not perfectly flat, but anything helps. And I mentioned in previous videos, but the front fence is going to continue right through these trees, giving whatever animals we have in this front pasture much more grass to graze and much more land to wander, while still being fenced. On our next video, all of this dirt will be cleaned up. I'm then going to put some grass seed down, and if we don't get too much rain, we're going to start cutting in the trail, first to the water tank, and then from there, hopefully the cabin. I know at times this can be a bit monotonous, but I promise it's all going to pay off. And thank you for taking time to watch. With the drone, you can see where the first switchback that Mark cut in goes. And if you carefully watch through the trees, you can get an idea where we're going to try and end up for the next switchback. We will see you in a few days.